What do you reckon humanity's greatest fantasy is? Flight. Soaring free as a bird. No gridlock, no bleeding the pump dry, just spread your wings and shoot through the sky. But hold your horses. Have you ever pictured yourself dead asleep on a Sunday morning when suddenly you hear a flap, 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 flap hammering away right outside your fifth-floor window? You crack your eyes open, and there's your pot-bellied neighbor hovering out there, toothbrush dangling from his mouth, giving you a cheerful wave. Morning. Just cutting through your rooftop, gotta clock in by 9. That's the moment it hits you like a freight train. When humans have wings, your right to privacy will vanish into thin air faster than an ex's feelings. The burning question is the sky above your house truly yours, or is it a public highway that anyone with enough wingspan can just barrel through? Under normal circumstances, you slap up a 3-meter wall and call it a day, right? My home is my castle. But once everyone sprouts wings, no wall stands a chance. Unless you go full medieval and cage your entire property in iron. Legally speaking, there was once a doctrine called Ad Coelum, the idea that you own your land from the bedrock all the way up to the heavens. But this theory had its wings ripped off in 1946. Here's how it went down. A farmer named Causby dragged the federal government to court because military aircraft buzzing at low altitudes spooked his chickens so badly they slammed into walls and logged out in bulk. No respawn, no recovery, permanent offline status. The court handed down a landmark ruling. The sky is a public highway, but landowners still hold iron-fisted control over the airspace directly above their land for reasonable use. What counts as reasonable? If I'm throwing up another floor or growing trees that scrape the clouds, that airspace is mine to command. But if you're accidentally hanging 2 meters above my balcony to watch the clouds, that's not flying anymore. That's unlawful trespass. Mark my words. In a world with wings, breaking and entering won't conjure images of scaling walls anymore. It'll mean, officer, he muscled into my 10-meter buffer zone around my window without a permit. But don't just fixate on peeping. Brace yourself for the more physically disruptive flavors of chaos. Paint this picture. You're soaking up an outdoor barbecue, and whoosh! Some reckless weekend flyer buzzes past and dumps a fistful of feathers all over your sizzling steak. That's precisely when trespass to chattels rockets into the legal spotlight. And the truly nightmare scenario? Someone gliding overhead gets blindsided by nature's call. People love saying good news drops from the sky, but in this case, what pelts your head can only trigger one thing: a crushing property damage lawsuit. At that point, to fortress their personal airspace, society would be scrambling to engineer gadgets straight out of a fever dream. We'd see security nets strung across the sky, oversized mosquito nets on steroids, thrown up to fence out prying neighbors. Then come wing disruption devices, primed to blast frequencies that drop anyone who dares creep within 20 meters of your home into sudden muscle failure, forcing them into an embarrassing emergency landing. And naturally, none of this takes off without the birth of the aerial traffic police. Steel yourselves for high-octane chases with sirens wailing through the clouds, where officers whip out rulers to clock the distance from your armpit to the nearest rooftop before slapping you with a ticket for violation of safe airspace distance. Then the Karen neighbors will descend. You know the type. Planting themselves on the rooftop, 5-meter broom raised like a weapon, shrieking, "You just trespassed 20 centimeters into my airspace. I've got dashcam footage. Lawyer up," because your court summons is already in the mail. The sky at that point? Anything but free. It'll be carved up and parceled out like real estate at a bidding war. The ultra-wealthy will snatch up entire flight rights over whole neighborhoods so not a soul can drift over their heads. The rest of us? Crammed into suffocating public flight corridors, wings clipping each other, the spitting image of rush-hour gridlock down on the ground. Instead of laying on the horn, we'll tear into each other by thrashing our wings hard enough to blast a wall of wind into the other person's face. A very back-to-nature future, reeking of gunpowder. So here's the bottom line. Wings would be drop-dead impressive, sure, but threading the needle between personal freedom and your neighbor's right to privacy is a colossal puzzle. Controlling airspace isn't just about what floats in the air. It's about respect. If you're lucky enough to have wings, burn this into your memory. Don't skim too low or you'll eat your neighbor's broom. And don't linger in front of someone's window or you'll catch a face full of insecticide for being a creep. As for me, I'm hitting the gym hard to hammer out my chest muscles, because sprouting wings only to putter along at grass height would be flat out humiliating. Don't forget to smash like and subscribe to tag along on the next ridiculous hypothetical. Let's fly!